Hey everyone, so this lesson is another way of dividing polynomials. So we did long division on last Tuesday and Wednesday, and now this is called synthetic division. So synthetic division, the steps seem complicated, but once you learn how to do it, it's actually a lot easier than long division. So here we go. The first thing it says to do in step one, it says, make sure the dividend is in standard form. Degrees are in descending order. Write the coefficients of each term on one line. So the dividend, remember, is what we're dividing into. That's the dividend. So you want to make sure that's in standard form, which it is because it goes from highest degree to lowest degree. 3, 2, 1, 0. You also need to make note if they're missing any terms. We'll deal with that in a little bit. So it's already in standard form. So the next thing it says to do is write the coefficients of each term on one line. You may know how the coefficients are the numbers before the variables. So 2, negative 13, 26, negative 24. So you just write those in a line. I already did that for you here. This part I'll talk about in a second. So you write all your coefficients in a line. Okay, next. Actually, I'm going to leave that there. So we took our coefficients. We're going to write them in a line. Okay, next it says write the constant of the divisor. That's the divisor. In a box to the left of the dividend coefficients. So you put like a little box like this. It says write it with the opposite sign since it is a zero of the divisor. So the next thing we're really getting into with this dividing is called like solving polynomials and finding the zeros. If you remember, the zeros of a polynomial are where they hit the x-axis. So in order to find the zeros, you have to find the factors of it, which factors look like this. And then the zero is just the opposite sign. If you remember when we did solving quadratics, remember how we had something like that and we set it equal to zero and just took the opposite sign? So we did that a while ago. But basically, the number in the box is what I'll call it, is you look at the divisor. It's whatever the opposite sign is to that. So see how that's minus 4? So you're going to put a positive 4 in the box. It's always the opposite sign. Then you leave a blank line. See this blank line? Leave that open and then draw a line like this. So you like leave a space, like skip a line. And so this is how we do synthetic division. This is like the main part of it. This is the steps. So after you set it up, here's what we do. Switch to blue. Okay, the first thing you do, step 3, is bring down the first coefficient and you write it underneath the line. Then you multiply whatever's underneath the line by the number in the box. So 4 times 2 is 8. Now you add. So I'm like just going through these steps here. You add them together. So now you're going to add negative 13 and 8 is negative 5. You write that below the line. Then you multiply. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Now we add. 26 plus negative 20 is positive 6. Now we multiply. 4 times 6 is 24. Now we add 0. So we're almost done. We did the division part. So if you take a look at step 7, it says the last number written under the line is your remainder, which is still written the same way as how we normally do remainder over divisor. See how our remainder was 0? So it says if the remainder is 0, the binomial is considered a factor of the polynomial, which will make a little more sense once we get a little further in this unit. But basically, what it means is that x minus 4 divides evenly into this when it has a remainder of 0. And that means there's a 0, there's an x-intercept at positive 4, which again, we'll get into later. So this is the remainder, which this one doesn't have one. So here's how we write the next part, the final answer. So the answer is called a depressed polynomial is what it's called because the exponent goes down 1. So like right here, So right here it says each number below the line is the coefficient of each term of your answer. The power of your first term is 1 less than the degree of the dividend. So let's come back up here. So this 2, -5, and 6, those are our new coefficients. But now we need to figure out what the variables are. So see how this one, the highest degree was x to the third? For your answer, you go 1 down from that. So this is going to be x squared, and then x, and then your constant. So that's your answer. So you have to actually write out a polynomial. You just don't write these numbers. These become the coefficients of your answer. So this is kind of tricky at first, but I promise the more we do it, it gets so much easier and you're going to like it more than you like long division. I put some bullets of some things to remember that, you know, we can come back and revisit. But if it's missing terms, just like in long division, you have to include a 0, just like we did before. So speaking of that, let's take a look at this one. So we want us to divide and then also to determine if the binomial is a factor. It's a factor if the remainder is 0. Okay, so see how this one goes from x to the fourth to x squared? That means we're missing x to the third. So when we write out our coefficients, we're going to write out our coefficients. We're going to write 4 because that's first. Then the x to the third term is missing, so we're going to put a 0 for that. Now a 2 for the x squared term, a -4 for the x term, and a 12. Let me separate that a little bit. That looks like 4, 1, 2 altogether. Okay, now we look at the divisor, which is x plus 2, and we need to take the opposite sign of the 2, the positive 2, and that goes in the box. So -2. Now we just do the synthetic division. So we drop down the first one. We multiply. -2 times 4 is -8. Now we add. 0 plus -8 is -8. We multiply. -2 times -8 is positive 16. We add. 2 plus 16 is 18. We multiply. -2 times 18 is -36. We add. -36 plus -4 is -40. We multiply. Sound like a robot. -2 times -40 is 80. Oops. 80. So then we add 12 plus 80 is 92. Done. Well, sort of. This is our remainder. We take these to write our answer. So see how this one, the highest degree was 4. So now it's going to go 4 instead of x to the fourth is going to be x to the third minus 8x squared plus 18x minus 40. So see where I'm getting that from? The 4, the -8, the 18, the -40. And then our remainder is going to be plus 92 over x plus 2, the divisor. So sometimes you do get some kind of big numbers, but that's okay. That's your answer. To answer this question, is it a factor of the polynomial? So like, would this divide evenly into it? Well, there's a remainder, so we're going to say no, it's not a factor. Okay, let's do a couple more. Okay, so again, we take our our coefficients, which this one isn't missing one. See how it goes 3, 2, 1, 0. So we have 2, 3, -4, 15. The number in the box is going to be -3 because you want to take that opposite sign. Okay, so let's drop down the 2. And now let's multiply. -3 times 2 is -6. And then we add. 3 plus -6 is -3. We multiply. -3 times -3 is 9. Now we add. -4 times 9 is +5. And then we multiply. -3 times 5 is -15. And then we add one more time. 15 plus -15 is 0. So this one does not have a remainder. So it has a remainder of 0, which means that, yes, x plus 3 is a factor of the polynomial. So if I divided this by x plus 3, it divides evenly. So yes, it is a factor. But don't forget, we have to write our final answer. So remember 2, -3, and 5. These are our new coefficients. And we want to go 1 less than x to the third. So it's going to be 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. And there's example 3. we have a few more examples. Okay, notice this one goes from 4 to 3 to 1 to 0. So it's skipping the x squared term. So we have to, here's our box. We have to do 6, negative 8, 0 for the x squared term, 12 for the x term, and then negative 14. Leave some space. Number in the box is going to be the opposite of the divisor, so positive 2. So there's our setup. Now we divide. So I'm going to bring down the 6. Multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. Now we add. Negative 8 plus 12 is positive 4. Now we multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Now we add. 0 plus 8 is 8. Multiply. 2 times 8 is 16. Now you add. 12 plus 16 is 28. Multiply. 2 times 28 is 56. And then add. Negative 14 plus 56 is positive 42. Since we're all done at the end, this is our remainder. So to answer the question over here, is x minus 2 a factor? No, it's not, because it doesn't divide evenly. There's a remainder. I'm going to write the answer over here. So this one, the highest exponent was a 4. So now in my answer, the highest exponent is going to be a 3. And so I'm going to start with the 6. It's going to be 6x to the third, then the 4 plus 4x squared, then the 8 plus 8x, and then the 28 plus 28. There's your answer. Okay, here's another one. Okay, so I have 3. Notice it's missing the x squared term. It goes straight to x to the third to x. So a 0 for the x squared term. Negative 5, 10. The number in the box is going to be the opposite sign of the divisor, which is a positive 1. Draw your line, leave some space. Okay, here we go. Drop down the 3. Now multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. Now add. 0 plus 3 is 3. Now multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. Lots of 3's here. Now add. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 2. And then multiply. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. And then add. So 8 is my remainder. I just realized I forgot to write the remainder on this one. Uh-oh. My mistake. So then it's going to be, hold on. Just dawned on me. So it's going to be plus 42 over x minus 2. Did I do that for any of the other ones? Let's see. I got that one. Okay, sorry about that. I just thinking about how this one had a remainder. I was thinking, I don't know. Okay, so this one is not a factor also. So now this one started off with x to the third. So now this is going to be 3x squared. Oops. So I'm going to write it over here. 3x squared plus 3x minus 2. And those 3 numbers are coming from here, here, and here. This is the remainder. So it's going to be plus 8 over x minus 1. Okay, last one. So this is another sort of long one. So this one goes 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, which is what we want. So let's write those numbers out. Well, not the exponents, but the coefficients. So we're going to have 1, negative 8, 16, negative 23, and negative 6. The number in the box is going to be the opposite sign of this, which is positive 6. Leave yourself a line, and let's go. Okay, drop down the 1. Now multiply. 6 times 1 is 6. Now add. Negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. Multiply. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Now add. 16 times negative 12 is 4. Multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. Now we add. Negative 23 plus 24 is 1. 6 times 1 is 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So this one, yes, it is a factor because the remainder is 0. And now we can write our answer. So since the highest one was a 4 here, for my answer, the highest is going to be a 3. I'm going to write it underneath. So we have 1x to the third minus 2x squared. So remember, these numbers are coming from here. Plus 4x plus 1. And there's no remainder, so we just leave it at that. And so that's synthetic division. See how the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Really, the important part is the setup, and then just making sure you're not making any little errors with your multiplication and your adding. I would say that's the biggest thing kids do. So use a calculator so you don't get any little things wrong. And that's it. So please let me know if you have a question. We'll do some more next time. Have a great day.